Hi, everybody. Thanks for staying after the film. Are you all in the audience able to hear me? Yes? Good. Thank you. Karen, are you able to hear me as well? Oh, there you are. You're
I
muted.
can hear you.
Oh, good. Hi. Thank you so
Hi.
much.
Of course. Of course. Thank you
Welcome.
for having me.
We're so glad that you could be here with us virtually. And I want to start by thanking you for this extraordinary film, a film of remarkable beauty and power. And we have an enthusiastic audience here who are looking forward to asking you some questions about your work. I'll start the ball rolling, and then as we come up towards the end of our time, around 15 minutes from now, I do have one final question for you as well. But simply to begin, first off, my name's Sue. It's lovely to meet you. I teach film
Nice to
studies
finally meet you, Sue.
oh, good. I teach film studies at a community college here in Bellingham, and I was wondering if you could talk a little bit to start us off by saying something about what inspired you to tell this story.
Yeah, thanks for your question, Sue. I started off in documentary, and when you don't have a lot but you want to tell a story, it's the best way to tell stories because you can, because it's so economical, because you don't need much. And I'd always wanted to tell. It's like my mom's story, right? And I'd always wanted to tell it, and she always wanted me to do something. She's like, "You better be writing all this down." Um, but I couldn't understand how you write a story because again, I made docs, and I just got angry one day, and this is what happened. So I got angry. Um, I just got angry at the amount of this violence against women just seems so pervasive and like swatting away a fly. It just felt like it was everywhere. And I didn't know what to do with it. And I had 10 days for a filmmaking deadline here in Canada. And so I said to myself, I'm just going to do this and try. And I did not expect anything. And I got the money. And so I had to figure out how to do it. But that's the long and short. That's the long and short of it.
And that led to the short version of this film.
That's right. So as I was I went to the Canadian Film Center with the Norman Jewison Canadian Film Center. And so the short film was and like a 10 minutes in the world of the film, right? So it gave me a chance to really take advantage of our locations and really understand them and understand the dynamics of what a community feels like in this day and age, and how it works. And so it was a wonderful opportunity.
Thank you.
Mhm.
I'd like to open this up to the audience. If anyone has any questions they'd like to ask, we've got the house lights up so we can see a few hands. Let's start with Cheryl Crooks.
Karen, would you talk a little bit with the audience about the woman who played I can't remember her name right now, who played the grandmother? She was extraordinary, and I understand that she's not an actress. That this was a first time part.
Okay, I'll repeat the question so that everybody can hear. Cheryl is wondering about the actress who portrayed the grandmother. And Cheryl notes that this was her first time acting professionally. Can you talk a little bit about her, how you found her, and what that was
Sure.
like?
Sure. We had a really hard time casting this role in up in Canada. Because all the women that were in this age range look very good for their age. They wanted me to hire like a 60-year-old woman to pass as someone 70 and put makeup on them. And I was like, she's earned every wrinkle on her face. And I really wanted to embrace someone, um, especially coming from Doc. I was excited about working with a non-actor. And so we could not find anyone. um, we did have someone, it did not work out, and we had like 24 hours to find someone else. And so I called Maxine. This is our family friend who knew my mom, registered nurse, an ICU nurse. And she was just like, Karen, if you think I can do it, I'll try. That sing-songy voice that she has. And I'm so proud of her. She's never acted a day in her life, and Olunuke and our cast really rallied around her to kind of introduce her to how to read a script, how to, and I feel like she's someone that's so comfortable in her body and so comfortable in her voice, and she welcomes that from everyone around her. And so there's an authenticity to her that can't be faked. And so, yeah, we're just so proud of her. Yeah.
That's a lovely story. Thank you. Oh, a follow-up question from Cheryl. She's wondering about any award nominations that you can share with us.
Yes, thank you, Cheryl. You're very good at this. So I see where you're going with this. So Maxine is she's nominated for Best Supporting Actor, like in a film in Canada, which is like actually our entire supporting cast was nominated for Best Supporting in a feature. Olanuke was nominated for her role as Jean. I was nominated for like a best picture, which is crazy. We're up against like The Apprentice and David Cronenberg. And I just keep thinking about how we started with like a dare to myself, let me just try this thing. Like, what if I hadn't tried? So I'm just, I can't believe we're here, but I'm so grateful that like I tried.
Wonderful. Thank you. Questions from the audience. What are you wondering about? What are you thinking about? Okay, in the back.
Consider the apartment complex that's predominantly character as the neighborhood, yes. Also, the apartment complex so frequently featured. I'm just wondering what the thought process was behind doing it that way.
The question is about the apartment complex where the story is set, and an audience member was wondering if you had considered that apartment complex as something like its own character in the film, and if you could talk a little bit about that location.
Definitely, definitely. That was like actually, I'd always heard from friends of mine talking about, they call it village. It's actually called like the community calls it that area of the city village, and about their childhood and about how neighbors operated and took care of each other. And I always wondered if I could shoot there one day, just like roaming by. And um, my friend passed away, but his mom and the community was so welcoming to us and making sure that we had everything that we needed. And it's funny. I think the spaces that house us, sometimes they're permanent, sometimes they're temporary, but they carry like identity, somewhere like a wall that you'd walk past every day is automatic. Automatic now, the cinematic moment. You know,
Mhm.
there's a dog.
Oh.
Um, but yeah, it's definitely had a character of its own. Like it's the worn downness of it, the idea that it could be better, but it's not. And so what are people doing to make it better? You know? Um, yeah, it was really, really special to film there and to film. Like grannies would give us like freezies, you know. Like I went home with like bags of callaloo. It's like a kind of like spinach, um, but like lots of it because like everyone was giving away food from the garden. So around the summertime, it's a great place to hang around. But people do really live like that. They really do swap veggies and share frozen stuff that they've grown in their garden, and it's had a real indelible mark on me. Like how we can improve our spaces.
That does make me think of two follow-up questions. One, so the apartment complex is called The Village. Is that what I heard from you? Which gives us our title, or at least part of it, but the other piece is the village keeper, or
Yes.
village keeper simply. I'm wondering if you think about any one character in particular as a village keeper, or if in some way they join together to keep the village, to keep each other.
That's an interesting question. I mean, my first instinct is that it's Maxine, it's that it's grandma, and her connectivity to not just the place, but the people in it. Um, I remember my mom always saying, like, people will be good to you because I'm good to people. Like, people will always be good to my children. And it's this mentality that she has and the way that she, this philosophy of how she lives her life. I'd like to think that's our opening. That's the basis of how this community runs. Um, and just the idea that for me, not everyone has to per se go to therapy, right? But grandma found her own therapy and in this way of giving things away. And in her understanding that, she was able to encourage her daughter to do something different, And so I think they're all the keepers, but for me, the emphasis was just on how can we get better care of the people who take care of us. That
Beautiful.
was what I thought about a lot.
Thank you. I do note that food has a very prominent role in the film as characters are trying to lift each other up and support each other and
Mhm.
care for one another in the wake of really terrible traumas, right? A serial chain of trauma. Can you talk a little bit about the sort of intentionality behind having food be such a foregrounded element in the film?
I think I've been just trying to find like quantitative ways that I miss my mom, like things that were you didn't realize that it was only this matter of time. You didn't realize that there was an amount. There was like amount of dinners you'll have. And I just thought, that feeling when you're about to go home and it's been a long day and you can smell what's cooking on the other side of the door.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like that feeling that mothers, that caregivers do, the sense of like safety and peace and love that they provide us despite of going through whatever they're going through, and food as this gesture of that and representative of that. And I was like, man, if they never let me make another movie, let me make a movie about these gestures that I think are heroic. It's like, how did you know I wanted to eat that today? Or how did you do small ways that I don't think we wait till it's too late to acknowledge, And I just, I wanted to push something in someone to, I think, take care of the people that take care of them.
Thank you. What other questions are people mulling over? What would you like to hear Karen Chapman talk about? Okay, in the middle. The question is about the two primary young people in the film, Tristan and Tamika. And had those actors had much experience in the profession as actors, or are they relatively new?
I know Zara Bentham. She's been acting for a while. She's also a singer, but Ethan, no. Ethan's a model, so he's mostly in Korea. He does a lot of modeling in Korea. So this is one of his first roles, and their chemistry is undeniable. I remember they were auditioning, and I had to like turn my face for a minute. I had to turn my face for a minute because I could. Yeah, they managed to conjure up something that I think is real. They really do have an affection and a respect for one another. So it was definitely awesome to see on screen.
Oh, you got some applause for that. Yeah, the interactions between the two really were they felt really lived in and warm and connected and natural. And I forgot that I wasn't watching a real family, or a real
Yeah,
family.
totally.
Yeah. I see more hands in the back.
Each of the characters.
That's a beautiful question. Is that Audrey back there? I'll try to summarize. That was remarkable insight. So Audrey is wondering about the role of the arts in the film, and it seems as though the arts are a vehicle for healing for so many of the characters, with the drawing and the dance and the braiding of the hair and the gardening and the journal writing. And I was wondering, we were wondering if you could talk about that a little bit. Audrey, did that get at the gist? Okay.
Thanks for your question, Audrey. Definitely. I think I'm forgetting the name, but a psychologist was just talking about the ways that we unstick ourselves when we're stuck. We're never gonna come. What are they? Things that we do with our hands, right? There are things that you need to be physical to do, and they're all just that, from the arts, from anything in finding your way back to yourself. I think that costs nothing, that are free. So that was definitely a theme for sure.
Thank you. Other questions? One more question. Okay. Okay, Cheryl has a question.
I don't know if the audience knows that the film was made over a course of what, 12 days? And you were pregnant during that time? I'm just wondering if you talk about the challenges that presented. I mean, one or the other would be enough.
Yeah.
Time.
The question is about the challenges of doing a 12-day shoot while pregnant. And can you talk a little bit about how that went?
Yeah, that was wild. That was wild. I mean, it was like, imagine the word, like wanting to do something you've always wanted to do at what felt like the worst possible time. I talked to my doctor said I was fine, and I kept thinking actually it wasn't going to happen. But then I remember I reached out to Olanuke, and I'd asked if she would do this, and sent her the script. And in my mind, I'm just going to say no. I will have this baby quietly. Everything will be fine. And then she said yes. This is like in February, and then she said yes. And so we had to kind of pull ourselves together. So we got a grant in Canada. We have artist and filmmaking grants. We got a grant from a couple funding bodies, and we had like a $200,000 Canadian. That was our shooting budget. And I hired a PA that I'd work with in a few, like I think when he first came to Canada, and I could not get someone to co-produce with me. Co-producing is hard. It's thankless. You often get paid last, and it's just a very hard job to do. And so I had a really rough time finding someone. And I said, and his name is Enrique Benequed. I was like, he's never done it before, but just because he hasn't done something doesn't mean he can't do it. That was like our whole, even with Maxine, that's like our entire philosophy. And so he just learned as he went along. We were learning, we just did it. And thankfully he went to business school, so he was great at managing budgets. We always had enough. The food was great. We had safety meetings. We had meditation in our safety meetings. We had a counselor on set. So to be young, the doctor, she's actually training for her doctorate right now, but she has a women's health center in Costa Rica. So she trains in creating safe spaces. And so she was able to kind of support cast members during and through. So we didn't have a lot of money, but we didn't have a lot of time, but we had a lot of heart. And so we would estimating like 9 pages a day. We were going very fast. We shot very quickly.
For context, most sort of low budget films tend to shoot on a 24 to 36 day schedule, and you
Mhm.
shot in 12.
So we
And
have,
a
oh,
low
that's
budget
all we
picture.
have to pay
Oh,
people.
sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, that's what we had, so it was like,
Mhm.
we should have more, but we just jumped.
In Hollywood, a low budget film. I think Moonlight was shot for 5 million, and that was a micro budget film. Everybody shared the same trailer, and you had 200,000. What an extraordinary feat. Even if you had all the money in the world, the film is still an extraordinary feat in and of itself. Thank you so much for sharing your work and your time with us.
Of course, this was very special. Thank you for letting me be here. And thank you for everyone who stayed. I'm always so thankful when audiences, one, come and see your film, but two, they stay. That's really cool. I appreciate it.
Thank you
Thanks for being
again.
patrons of the arts. And this is a wonderful festival. I hope to actually come in person one day.
Yes.
Lovely. Please do. Please do.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you all for coming, and I'm so glad you stayed and got to meet Karen. And she had intended to be here, but something came up and she couldn't. And I think her baby's like 8 months old, so But anyway, thank you all. We need to vacate the theater fairly quickly so we can get ready for the next film. I hope you're all going to stay for the shorts. Thank you much.